Get in, sit down, shut up, and hang on. That's what Richard Paterson has asked me to request of you all this morning. Now, Richard isn't just a garden variety mainstream writer. He's an emergent author entering the scene with a passion for storytelling that is contagious. And his debut book isn't just a collection of words. It's a testament to the power of community, a theme that floods his heart. Richard's words have this incredible way of making us feel involved, reminding us of the strength we find in one another. So, as we experience his passion firsthand this morning, let's embrace the insights, observations, the heart, the soul he's poured into his book, Let's Fix Our Social Fabric. Get ready to be inspired, moved, and reminded of the incredible value of community. Please welcome to the State Library of New South Wales, Richard Paterson.
Okay, thank you for welcoming me to New South Wales. As a Victorian, we've had a shocking time. And I actually started the journey of my writing pre-COVID. And I was planning in 2019 that I would have my book finished early 2020, and that didn't happen, hence it's now 2023. But I am very thankful that I didn't launch my book in 2020 because the experience of COVID provided the majority of the content for my book. And actually I was expecting it to be a bit colder here, so I'll just... It stops there though, don't get it. No further layers are going to be removed. So I want to take you back to an experience that I had early on in COVID, actually just during the first lockdown. I'd moved to a new street, so I didn't know any of the neighbours, and very difficult to get to know them when you're in lockdown. And I'm a bit of an aspiring world changer, so I do real blue sky dreaming. So here I am locked down during COVID, mowing the front lawn, getting as frustrated as all get out, because how can I have any impact on the world when I'm not allowed out of my little space? I felt like a prisoner in my own home. So I'm out the front mowing the lawn and getting frustrated and everything, and I'm thinking, I want to get out and change the world and all that sort of stuff. And I just had this flashing thought that you can only use what you've got in your hands. I've got a mower in my hands. How am I going to change the world with a mower? So anyway, I'm just thinking about that, and I thought, you know what? I believe in servant leadership, and I believe in building communities through serving each other. So I decided I'm going to mow all the nature strips in my street. And so I headed off, and I'm going down the street, mowing the nature strips. And as I was going, I got about 3 houses down the road. And as I said, I'm new in the street, so I don't know any of the neighbours. And I got down to this house a few doors down, and I noticed how sort of dishevelled the front yard was. It was very overgrown and unkept. And I just had this sudden flash of memory when I did my counselling training. One of the things that we were taught was that the external world is always a reflection of the internal world. And I stopped as I was mowing the nature strip, and I looked at that yard and I thought, I wonder what's going on in their internal world that their front yard is so neglected. And curiosity got the better of me, so I went and knocked on the door. And I said, look, I'm just out mowing all the nature strips. Is it okay if I mow the front lawn here? And a middle-aged lady, I'd say probably in her late 50s, answered the door, and she said, yeah, that's fine. I'm sure Mum would really appreciate that. So I mowed the lawns, went down the street, continued doing the nature strips. Anyway, I ended up mowing about, I think it was 4 or 5 front yards, as well as all the nature strips. And just as a side note on that, I got my 10,000 steps done for the day. So it kind of had another benefit as well. So I did my round, and then I got back and I thought, that wasn't too bad. I actually feel quite good about that. So each time I went out to mow my lawn, I went and did a lap of the court as well and got my 10,000 steps. And I went and did all the nature strips in those few houses that, the front yards I did as well. I think it was about the 4th time I'd done all the street, and we had a WhatsApp group. So we're in lockdown, remember, so we're not allowed to go out and all that sort of stuff. And this lady posted on the WhatsApp group, I've just picked a basket of lemons off my tree. I'll put them out by the letterbox so everybody can come and help themselves. If you want some lemons, come and help yourself. So then a few days later, somebody else posted on the WhatsApp group, I've just picked a box of limes. I'll put them out at the letterbox. Come and help yourself. And then subsequently somebody had persimmons. And then somebody else had passion fruit. And somebody else had curry leaves. And then the lady that posted the limes posted something very interesting on the WhatsApp group. She posted, I think we should thank Richard for turning our court into a community. And like for the way that I work, I don't think anybody could pay me a greater tribute or a greater compliment than that. And I thought, wow, how good's that? And then I had this thought, what if one person in every street chose to turn their street into a community? Do you reckon we could change the world? I reckon we could. What if just one suburb? What if there was one suburb in Australia that decided we're going to get a representative from every street to turn their street into a community? I reckon that postcode might make its way onto the news. And I reckon that might start a bit of a revolution. So I got really excited that this community thing had started in our street. And, the thing that I was pondering was, what was it? We were already connected. As neighbours, we're already connected, but we weren't a community. And there's all this hoopla and everybody carries on now about, oh, it's great, you need to be connected. That's crap, because the street was already connected, but it didn't help. The difference was that we became integrated. So instead of just being connected, we became integrated. And I got this concept in my head that you can have a bunch of threads and put them in a bowl on the table, and they're all connected because they're in the bowl together. But they don't serve any purpose or any use. However, if you take those threads out and you weave them together, you can create some fabric. And that fabric can be of use. So the difference, okay, getting connected is a start. But getting integrated is what actually creates community. And that's the passion that I now have, is how can we get bunches of people that are connected to get integrated so that they can have the enjoyment and the benefit of living in community. And that's what, I'm a chaplain at a local football club, and that's what I'm doing at the footy club. And I spoke to all the footballers and I said, look, we're connected by wearing the same jumper. We're wearing the same colours. But that doesn't make us operate as a community, as a club, as a unit. We need to have a relationship with each other so that when I'm making that split-second decision, am I going to put my body on the line and put my head over the ball? If I've got confidence in my teammates being behind me and got my back, I will give everything to take that ball. And I'll have confidence. And that's what will build the team and the unity, and we'll start working as a unit. And I'm really privileged. I don't know, is there anybody here, can I just see a show of hands, anybody here that follows the AFL? Yeah, we got a few. So those that have followed the AFL, you may have heard of a bloke called Gary Ayres. Played for Hawthorn. In fact, he played in 5 premierships for Hawthorn. I don't reckon you'd find too many guys that have played at AFL level that had 5 premiership medals to their name, but he does. And he actually won 2 medals, which is called the Norm Smith medal, where you're best on ground during the grand final. He's won 2 of those. In fact, he's so highly regarded that there's a medal named after him, the Gary Ayres Medal, which is for the best player of the final series each year in the AFL. And that's because he was regarded as such a great finals performer. He also then went on to coach Geelong in the AFL. He then went and coached Adelaide in the AFL. And then for 16 years he coached Port Adelaide in the state competition in the VFL and won 4 premierships with them. I'm very honoured. That man is the coach that I work alongside at my football club now, and he's the guy that's written the foreword to my book. And the reason that he did it was because he sees the importance of my role at the football club turning us into a bunch of guys into a unit and into a community and into an organisation. So that's fantastic. I just want to finish with something that's very emotional for me, so geez, I hope I can hold it together. But that first house that I was telling you that I went and mowed the lawn, the 5th time that I mowed that lawn, a middle-aged man came out of the house who I'd never seen before. And he came out and he said, I want to thank you for mowing the lawns. Mum's really appreciated it. And because he was kind of in his late 50s, I used to be a maths teacher, so I'm pretty sharp. I decided that his mum was probably fairly elderly. And I said, oh, how is your mum? And he started crying. And he said, she died on Friday. And I said, oh, mate, I'm so sorry. And he said, yeah, my sister's been living here delivering palliative care to mum for the last 3 months. That's what was going on, why the garden wasn't being looked after. The most important thing was mum having a good exit from this life. And it absolutely proved that belief that the external world was an indication of something that was happening in the internal world. Anyway, that guy started crying and I said, look, do you want to talk? And he said, yeah, is that okay? And we sat down on the steps for about 20 minutes at the front of the house. I've never met the guy before, and yet he poured his heart out to me and he said, oh, it's so good to have somebody to talk to. And I thought, isn't that a bad reflection on where the world's got to? Here's a guy that's grieving the loss of his mother, and he talks to the bloke that's mowed his mum's lawn. He's the guy that he chooses to unravel himself to. But the reality is he trusted me because I had served. And I had no idea the impact that I was going to have. Every time I was mowing that lawn, there was a lady inside dying. Like just one wall away from where I was mowing the lawn. She's in bed in the last years of her life. And that's why, and there's heaps of other stories like that in the book that I've written, and I'm very excited to launch that today. And as you can see, I've come prepared. This is just one that I prepared earlier. This whole venture started with a mower and ended with a community. Thank you for listening.